Welcome students to the new session. In this session I will try to cover the basics of SCAPS. In last couple of videos which I have uploaded, I have received the feedback that the students are struggling from the basics. So I will try to cover the basics. So let me open this SCAP software. So this is the SCAP software. You can get it from the uh, Dr. Mark Bergerman from University of Ghent. You can just write a mail to him, then he will uh, after due process he will give you a link to the software. After downloading the software, when you will open it, you will receive this kind of interface. Okay, so now you can see set problem. There are so many working points: temperature, voltage, frequency. So these are required like upon not not at the beginning aspect. These are required. These are required in later stage. So series resistance, shunt resistance, these can be used. We will use them today. Then action list. So this is all again not for the basics, not for the beginners. Okay. Then this is light condition, dark and light. So dark condition, it will not take any light. It will just simulate the IV or whatever diode you have given. It will simulate in the dark conditions. So this is required. You can do it. Okay. Then if you want, see, there are a couple of files. You can show. I can show you. There are a couple of files which are there for, so not for not here, uh, for going to these files. You can directly select these files from select the spectrum, like which light you want to, which file you want to take. SCAPS has different spectrum, inbuilt spectrum. So here the spectrum is AM 1.5. Okay, so G1. Okay, so global, G is for global. So this particular spectrum we are using. Okay, similarly you can have different spectrum. Say somebody want to use AM one spectrum, somebody want black body spectrum. So those sort of spectrums are there already inbuilt. So you can see the file is opening, and then there are a couple of different spectrums are there. So you go to the C, you go to the your wherever you have installed your SCAP software, you directly go there. I have installed it into program files. So there I will go. Now you can find uh, spectrum. So this is the spectrum coming out. There are different spectrum. So see, these are AM 1.5 D, like diffuse spectrum, like global spectrum, or this old spectrum. So NREL has like mandated new spectrum. So those spectrums are all spectrums are there. And suppose you want to check the IV curve on particular wavelength, that also you can do. So you can choose one particular wavelength, that also you can do. So those sort of different application I will be dealing with. I will show you those experiment in coming videos. Here just to show you that what are the spectrum available. Or if you have your own spectrum, then you can take the external spectrum from your own reading. Okay. So you want to say NIR spectrum, you want to measure a particular, not in the visible range of some particular. So those things are there. Then you have actions like IV, CV, CF, QE. So these four crucial parameter, IV parameter and QE parameter, quantum efficiency and IV. It is like very much mandatory for any device. And then some AC parameter it also do, which is CV and CF. So capacitance voltage characterization and capacitance frequency characterization. So AC measurement it can do. So these things we will do in for our specialized lectures, not here. Today's lecture is for beginners, so I will only do IV and QE for beginning point. So here in IV, what you need to do, you need to take V1, like from what voltage you want to step up. So from 0 to say 0.8 I want to go, that's correct. Then what you need to do, say if your band gap is say you are what material you are choosing, if you are choosing band gap say 1.5, then it's a good, always good to keep this value up to 1.5. Okay, and you keep this stop after VOC. So whatever the VOC, it will stop. This IV only will generate up to that VOC point. So suppose your VOC is 1 volt, then it will stop, IV curve will stop at a 1 volt. Okay, so this is a good practice to use from 0 to your band gap value and stop after VOC. And then how many number of point, or what is your step size? So incremental values. This is, inbuilt is 0.02, what I want to take, take 0.01. So that is like even finer IV curve it will detail, it will give. So that is always recommended to do this. And if below it will not go. So it's not recommended. So you can always go to 0.01 readings. Okay. So that is IV curve for your IV curve. And then CV curve, we are not using CV curve. Really, we is not interested, not of our interest. CF again we are not doing, so not of our interest. And then QE curve. So you can go for select these two curves, IV curve and a QE curve. And this QE curve, whatever your band gap it is, so correspondingly that cutoff wavelength you can select. So this 300 is okay. This 300 like UV below it if you go, this is a UV range, so no need to change it. You can change this this 900 wavelength. So if your band gap is lower and lower, then you need to increase it. So suppose silicon. So silicon will have 1.12 electron volt. So then in that case you can have 1100 nanometer up to 1100 nanometer you can go, or 1200, whatever the cutoff wavelength comes out. So up to that value you can go. Okay, so up to here, this I think I have explained all this point. After that, set problem is there. So set problem, once you click, then you will get a the details. This particular interface whereby you need to put your uh, device which you want to configure. So your configuration, your device configuration you need to put. So first of all, this left contact. So what I will suggest for the beginners to left contact. So at least I have to add one layer, then only I can do. So okay, so add layer. What I will do, I will not do any calculation here, anything here. What I will do, I will load directly, go to the load, and once you click the load, some of the solar cells it has already installed. Okay, some of the solar cell structure it has already like inbuilt. So I will choose any one of them. So say I will choose whatever CDT base I am choosing. So I'm choosing out of like no particular reason. I'm just choosing. So let's to show you how the system will run. Okay. Now for the beginners, I will tell you to for the left contact, always select initially. Always select flat band. Okay. Take the flat band condition. Okay. And whatever the values are given, so these give values will be these values. I have already selected a device. This I have selected a device which is here. It is mentioned CDT base. This base I have already selected. So whatever parameters for this file is they have been taken. Okay, so select OK. So what I want only PN junction to be simulated, only PN junction to be simulated. Okay, so here you can see CDT. So this is a P type, CDS is a N type, and SNO2 is a N plus type. Okay, so this is a P and N plus type structures forming. Okay, and the back contact is always at the beginning you make a back contact as a flat band. So flat band means near ohmic contact. You are making a near ohmic contact. You don't want a Schottky barrier to come into your device structure and complicate your things. So first of all, you don't bother about it. You just select flat band, whatever the initial value for electron mobility or hole velocities are there. These are basically surface recombination velocity for electron and holes. So you keep them as it is. Okay, and then you click OK, and then so you are now sure that your back contact. That means what basically that back contact is important because you are making a contact with a metal. Okay, metal you are using as a contact wire. You will choose a wire that is a metal, and then you are connecting it with a P-type semiconductor. So P-type semiconductor, when you make a contact with metal, there is a huge chance of Schottky diode formation. Okay, there is a so to avoid it, we need to do some work function engineering. So that is a like again once you are thorough with it, then you can do. Then in the I will take you through that in our upcoming videos. In this video, we will keep the flat band. Flat band means we are not taking any Schottky barrier. We are like lowering the probability of forming of Schottky diode at the back by choosing the flat band at the bottom, at the back contact. And here again, the N type also is a right contact. So right contact also this the problem the advantage with the right contact is a P type is an N type layer. Okay, so this is SNO is an N type layer. So it's basically N plus type layer. So I can show you the CDS is a see the donor density is 10 to the power 18. That is too high. Okay, Again SNO is again donor density is 17. So what you can do, you can make it to 19. Okay, higher. So n plus type you have, once you made, then whatever so now the thing is, uh, you are making a contact. This right contact is a metal again, a metal wire again, and this is an n type material, but this is an n plus type material. Okay, so making a contact with the n plus type material increases the probability of having a near ohmic contact, and avoid the possibility of making a Schottky diode. Okay, so these are the facts. Okay, these are the facts I am telling. So if you make a metal contact with an N-type semiconductor, there is a possibility of forming a Schottky diode. But you make with the N plus, then there's a then the possibility of Schottky diode is reduced and the near ohmic contact is increased. Similar is the case with the P-type also. So we will see that case, we will see in the in our different discussion. So once this is our basic structure which we have like inputted. I'm not going into detail of these. I'm just putting here. Then after that, after this, what you can do is uh, uh, some in this section, in this below section, some values are some buttons are open, like which is batch setup. So once you click the batch setup, what happens in the batch setup? You can choose, say I want my efficiency, how it is performing with respect to thickness of CDTS. Then you can choose thickness. Okay, thickness you can choose. So these are the values. Don't go there, just click here custom links and click set. So now you can set the values, whatever value you want to take. So I want, first I want 0.01 micron is the thickness I want to measure. That point 0.1 thickness, 0.1 micron thickness I want to measure. Then 0.5 thickness I want to measure. Then 1 micron thickness, then 2 micron thickness. Like that I can go up to 10 micron. Okay, so I'm just taking random values. You can do it thoroughly. So there will be a huge gap of, so I can go 3, 4, like 5, up to 5 I will go. So like that you can do as many points you want. So not only thickness, whatever parameter I want to see, the evolution of particular parameter, whether efficiency, whether voltage, whether current, whether fill factor, whatsoever parameter you want to see, we can check. So you can say band gap. If I change the band gap of CDT, how the efficiency is varying. That those parameter I can vary and I can see. Okay. So this is what the batch setup is. Okay. So here in the batch setup I have set the thickness variation of CDT layer. Okay. Now, which parameter corresponding to that variation in thickness I want to measure? So go to the record setup. So once I go to the record setup, now here I can see all the parameters like efficiency. So I click on the efficiency and insert above. So efficiency came. So now efficiency will be measured as a function of CDT thickness. Not only thick, not only efficiency, I can measure whatever I want. Okay, JSC, VOC, fill factor, JMPP, VMPP, J maximum power point or V maximum power point. Whatever I want, I can simulate. Other than this, I can go for say general properties. There I can see the important parameter here is recombination total. So total recombination with respect to the thickness of CDT layer, with respect to whatever you want to combination you want to make, you can make. Other parameter like conductance, here you can see capacitance, all those parameter. If I vary this band alignment, then like hole density, how it's varying with the thickness of the CT layer, like recombination rate, what the recombination rate throughout the thickness of our observer layer, that is CT layer. Like that, there are so many parameters you can analyze. Okay, so I will change it again. Cell definitions. So like electron affinity, how these are like changing, defect density, defect energy, how these are changing. Okay, so those things. And then if I go for interfaces, so total interface recombination, total interface current, surface charges, those things. So those things I can, what sort of interfaces are there, all those interfaces I can simulate. Okay. So like that, there are so many parameters. So we have only taken efficiency. So okay. So now what we have did is we have did variation of CDT thickness and variation of and variation of efficiency or dependence of efficiency on the thickness, that we have selected. Okay. we have not selected IV curve. Please note it. We have not selected IV curve. We have selected thickness as a function of IV. Thickness as a function of efficiency as a function of thickness of CDT. That we have selected. Okay. Other parameter also the curve fitting. So curve fitting is not required as we are not like going into here. What we will do, we will take out the value and we will plot in the origin. So directly we don't require curve fitting here. So okay. And the script setup. So script setup, if you want to do exact simulation or some desired simulation of your requirement. So those you can write them. You can write these script file here. Then you can execute them. So example of it, I will take this script file in our upcoming videos, not here because this is again for not for the beginner students. So in upcoming videos, I will give an example and do one script coding for a desired or whatsoever simulation is required. Okay. So I will click OK. So script we don't need. So up to here. So now if once I calculate recorder, so then if I calculate recorder, what it will do? So it is, see, you can see batch steps. So all these steps, different 8 steps it is taking, and you can measure C also here in this diagram that this thickness of the band gap, thickness of the CDT layer is increasing. Okay. So you can see the thickness is going to 4, so it is up to 5. So now the 5 is the last simulation. Okay. So as the thickness has increased, and at each thickness value it has taken the efficiency readings. So now I need to go to the recorders. So once I click the recorder, you can see how my thickness is increasing and how my efficiency is varying. Okay. So at a one particular thickness of 3 micron, the efficiency is maximum. After more than that thickness, the efficiency is decreasing. Okay. So this way I can optimize the thickness of my different layers. Okay. Similarly, I can optimize the band gap of my CDT layer. Similarly, I can optimize the electron density or hole density or one particular recognition parameter or one particular defects. Well, all those things can be optimized. Okay. So so this is the case. This is the case. This is the exact. Uh, this is what the my recorder setup is. Now it is showing me IV curve also. So if I click on the IV curve, so all these 8 IV curve will be shown. Okay, 8 different IV curve will be shown. Okay, because it has taken the reading for different thickness values. So this red one is for the initial, which is 0.01 micron thickness. So this is one, then second one is this, third one is this, fourth one, like 8 IV curve are shown. So all those 8 IV curve, if I want to see what are the parameters, I just need to click show. Once I click the show, all the 8 IV curve will be shown, and for each IV curve, what are the different parameters. So for the final IV curve, the efficiency is coming out to be 13%. That is being shown. So you can see 13% is shown. Okay. So then what I will do, I will now open the origin file. I will open origin and I will try to plot this. First of all, I will try to plot this curve. To do so, I will click on the show. Now you can see the patch parameter and their efficiency. Okay, so I will just click it and I will just control C. So this is copied. Once it is copied, I will go back to my origin and I will open a new file. Once the file is opened, I will just go there and control V. Okay, so paste it. So this is how, as simple as that. So just this V column V is your x-axis. So set is at x. Then you plot C and B and C, and click here. You can easily see your plot in your origin, and then you can do some modification over it, and you can just modify it and make it more presentable. So that's how easy to plot the IV curve here is. Okay. I will go back to the action and go back to the IV curve, and I will click show. So these are 8 IV curves it will show. So what I will do, I will plot, say last IV curve I will plot. So I will go. So this is the last IV curve. Okay, you can see. If I go further, there is one more IV curve. So it is showing 8 IV curves. So last one, I will copy from this particular V point. I will select all. I will select all. I have selected all. Okay. Last IV curve I have selected all the values, all the columns, all the rows, and then Control C. Once I Control C, again I go back to the origin, and in the second file just plot Control V. So once you plot Control V, so now this A is your V axis, voltage axis, and B is your current axis. Okay, so you just A is already X, so that already you select both of them and then just plot. So once you plot it, your IV curve is as simple as that. Your IV curve is shown. So this is a way to generate IV curves. Okay, so this is a way to generate IV curves, simple IV curves, plot and IV curves, so generate IV curves. So this is one particular point of plotting. Okay. After that, now I will go to the important point of the configuration, the device configuration. Basically, now I will go to the important point, like, so this IV curve I have taken the light condition. You can take in dark condition also, dark condition also it will show, but the current will not be there. Okay, so that is the point, no problem. So now I will go to set problem, and here this example file I have directly taken from the inbuilt file. Now I don't want inbuilt file, I want my own device. So now I will go to my own device. So what I will do, I want to remove it, so it is not getting removed. So one of the file you need to take care, so that's why. So I can click here new. So once I click new, so the new file will be opened. Okay, so now add layer. So suppose I want, you can choose whatever material you want to simulate perovskite with solar cell, you can simulate. You want to simulate uh, CZTS material, you can simulate. You want to simulate some other newer material, you can simulate. Or CDT solar cell, you can simulate. So let me take one material. Say, let me take one particular material. Say, if I take, uh, if I just take the material, say CZTS or perovskite, whatever. So say, let me take perovskite. Perovskite is more, people are working on it. So if I take perovskite, so you can see the thickness. First of all, I need to show the thickness. So the thickness I will put, say, zero point 0.3. So why I am putting 0.3 micron? Because in most of the papers, thickness of perovskite solar cell is 0.3. So you must have all the data with you, all the material parameter data. First you go to the papers, literatures, search out what are the thickness of the solar cell, what is the thickness of the observer layer, perovskite observer layer, what is the band gap. So band gap is almost given by 1.55 electron volt for perovskite. Okay, for electron affinity, I will keep the same whole all these parameter I will keep the same, and the accepted density I will take, say it is say 13, and the 13 accepted density, and the donor density I am keeping say 10. Okay, so I am decreasing the donor density, so you can do that, no problem. Basically it is an intrinsic type. Okay, so that's why what I will do, I will keep it 10. Okay, and then it has a huge absorption coefficient. So the value of which is the inbuilt value 1 into 10 to the 5, that is I will keep as it is, because it already have this particular reported values. So that's the one thing. Now comes the point which is very important point, and that point is what the defect should be, what defect it should have. For that you need to do a thorough literature survey. For the material parameter, you can find these values, like superficially you go through paper, you can find these values. These are more common values. You can find band gap value, thickness values, absorption coefficient, you can find these are more talked about. What is a defect? This, for doing so, these are there, these are reported in the literature, but for doing so you need to do a thorough paper survey. Go into depth of the papers, read thoroughly, what sort of characterization people have reported. You go through that, there you can find the defect values. Okay, what sort of defect condition is, what is the dominant defects are there, what is their densities. So those things all are there in the literature, but you need to do a uh, thorough uh, what to say, literature survey. Okay. So radiative recombination, I will take say up to for silicon, these values are already reported. Radiative recombination, Auger electron capture cross section, Auger hole capture cross section. So these things are reported for silicon. Okay, but for newer materials, say perovskite, somebody might have reported. Like for perovskite, people definitely may have reported all these values. What I will do, I will keep this value Auger recombination 1 into 10 to the power 1 e minus 20 I will take. Okay, same value I will take for whole recombination 1 e minus 20. So why I am taking this is not the specific values. I am just telling that these values for silicon lie in this range. So for other semiconductor you have to check. You have to check out. You have to put. You cannot take any random value and then you will put, or you have to justify why you are taking these values. Okay, so this basically radiative recombination you can take again 1 e minus I will take 18, so minus 18, there's no problem. So these are all small values, minus 18 values, small values. Then add a defect. Once you go to defect, now you have a neutral defect. So neutral defect is just to simulate a defect type. Okay, so it will not actually do any impact on your IV calculation or on or your defect or on your device recombination mechanism. It will not impact any in any way. So just for simulation kind of thing, dummy properties you are going to put. So that's the way. Okay, to simulate actual recombination, what is actually happening. So if you take perovskite solar cells, perovskite solar cells are relatively complex. So they show hysteresis behavior. So this is a little bit complex. So if you take simple designs, say simple designs like take a simple simplistic design. Say you take CDT solar cells. So basically, if I take CDT solar cells, so these parameter thickness may be increased. Thickness may be 1 micron. Band gap is 1.15. These values may or moreover will remain same. Maybe this dielectric permittivity may be changed. So I have to search out into the literature. Then only I can exactly claim that my this device is near to the CDT. Okay. Then this hole density may be higher, say 16, because of the p-type material. This absolute coefficient is okay. So I will go to the defect value now. Okay. So defect value is now opened, and so this may be a donor type defects. It might have a p-type. P-type, so it will have a acceptor type defect. So single acceptor I am taking, not double acceptor. So maybe there may be in CDT lattice there may be cadmium vacancy or cadmium at telluride place, telluride lattice or tellurium vacancy. So those sort of defects it can have, and what is their nature? You have to study those things. You have to find out. In I'm taking for example of CDT. I'm taking the example like cadmium vacancy, how it is behaving, whether it is a like a single charge or it has a double charge. So these things will be reported. If you go for those CDT study, material study or DFT study of CDT, you can find these parameters. Okay. So here what I am doing is for your explanation, not the exact thing. I am not doing the exact thing. I am doing the explanation thing. Okay. So let me take this as a acceptor. So I am assuming that the dominant defect are the acceptor defects. Then now you have to justify here why you are taking the acceptor defect. So maybe suppose that cadmium vacancy is a dominant defect in CDT, and that is acceptor type. So this is not the fact, but I'm telling like if it is there, then you can justify it taking a acceptor defect. Okay. So for putting the defect, what you need to do, you go to that particular material, whether it is perovskite, whether it is CJTS, whether it is CIGS, whether it is CDT, whether it is silicon or whatsoever. You go to that material, dig out the defect. What are the defect present? what are the defect densities, what are the defect nature, what are the defect type, what are the defect cross section. You have to put out these values in your table first. Then only you can input those values here. Okay. So what is the energy distribution? So is it uniform? Is it Gaussian or what conditionment is or whatever it is? So here single, you just take single, and what is its energy level that you need to put, and then what is its defect density. So whether it is so 16, 17, whatsoever it is, 1 is to 16 or 17. Once you have input all those values, then if you want to do like capture of electron or optical capture of holes, so if you are able to find these values, then you can input those values. Otherwise, no need to put. Otherwise, no need to put it. You can directly go, and you have to directly accept that. So edit. Okay. So these values are added. So now you can see we have for the CDT layer we have taken for our dummy cell we have taken accepted defect or single charge accepted defect with a uniform density of 1 is to 10 to the power 16. Okay. Grading is uniform type, like it is throughout spread into the forbidden gap or the band gap. Okay. Then ET value is given, and now this defect is only what it is causing. It is causing this tau n. Okay, and this is your mobility Ln, your mobility of electron and lifetime of electron. It is controlling these two parameters. So these two are important parameters. So uh, if you don't have these parameter and you have the lifetime of the device you want to simulate. So suppose you know that in CGTS the lifetime is say 10 nanoseconds. So then you can vary the defect density such that the lifetime of electrons comes out to be 10 nanosecond, which is in this case it is coming out. So in this way you can simulate the lifetime of the carrier or the mobility of the carrier. So mobility is coming out to 1.1 micron. So 1 micron is the mobility coming out for electron. Okay. So if I vary this defect density, this value will change. So I will show you. I will just edit it. So instead of 16, if I vary it, if I increase it, the defect density is increased. That means lifetime will be reduced and the mobility will be reduced. So let us see. Accept it. So now earlier it was 10 nanosecond. Now it is 1 nanosecond. Earlier the mobility, earlier the whole uh, it has reduced. Okay. So these parameters are there. Okay. So for doing the defect calculation, what you need to do, I have told you, and so those things are there. So once edit, so now one of my layer is done. Okay, so this is a p-type layer, so that's why this is a red color. Okay, now I want to add some other layer, so I want to add CDT layer, CDS layer, cadmium sulfide. So I am just putting cadmium sulfide. So thickness I will take very less, 0.05 or 0.08 micron only. The band gap will be 3.3 or 3.4. No, 2.4. The band gap of CDS is 2.4. Okay, and then I will keep all the parameters same because I'm not bothering about exact simulation. I'm just bothering about how to inform you. So I'm just varying all these parameters just to inform you. Then this neutral, I will not take neutral. I will take donor type defects, and the density will be I will take high because for CDS you can find these values already in the literature. So I will take 17. Okay. So that's how I have simulated. Okay. So now PN junction, my PN junction is ready. Okay. So now you can see the left contact. I will take left contact as a flat band. So already it is a flat band. Okay. So flat band, and whatever the values of surface recognition velocities are there, I will keep as it is. Okay. Because I'm not interested in right now. I'm not interested in generating one more secondary junction here. I want only a primary junction which is between CDS and CDT. That's it. So one interface only. Okay, and then I will go for one more layer. Say I go for AZO, aluminum doped zinc oxide, or you can go for ZNO. So whatever you want, you can go. So the band gap will be, the thickness will be, I will take 0.5 micron, and the band gap I will take is 3.3 because 3.3 is the reported band gap, and I will keep other parameters same. I will not vary it because my aim is here is to only to show you, not to exactly simulate it. So the thickness is high and other parameter is okay. So one only I will keep, or you can keep 0 also, no problem, and then I will reduce it to 3. Okay, so now you can see, uh, and I will not put any defect here. You want, if you have reported, if you have these values, defect values, you can put them. So this is our structure coming out to be. Okay, so a complete structure is coming out to be, and I'm not looking at the right contact because it is already a front flat band. So you can see it's already a flat band. So you only bother about left contact. Here we are not bothering about left contact because we don't want, right now we don't want, we only want a primary junction. Okay, so this is our device, and you can see the light is coming from the wide or from the front side. So front side is grounded, and we are applying voltage from the P side. Okay, you can see. So you can do these things. Okay, you can do illuminate from the left side. You can do this thing. So the illumination from the left side. So this is the super state type structure. Okay, if you want to simulate super state type structure, you can simulate this configuration. So you might have read about these things like super state behavior or super state structure or substrate structure. So those things are there. Okay, so this is a substrate structure. And then apply voltage to left or right, like that, or generate current as a consumer or generator. Okay, now current is a consumer condition. So you need not to bother about these points, just keep them as it is, and you can go for, you are good to go for simulation. So click OK, and then the IV curve you have selected. I have selected 1.3. I have selected the lowest value, lowest increment value, and then this I will click the light curve. Okay, and one more parameter here is, which is important, is now giving the series and center resistance value. So you need to input them. So for CDT solar cells, you need to find what are the series and center reported values. Okay, so the series resistance may be around 1 or 2 ohms per centimeter, ohms centimeter square, or the center resistance value may be around 1000. So I'm taking those values. Okay, these may not be actual values, but they may be around in this range. Okay, now I can click the uh, calculate single sort. So I just want only the IV curve to simulate. So I will click single sort. Once I click single sort, you can see the IV curve is being generated. So you can see the modification of band diagram upon the application of voltage. How the voltage is being, like, band diagram is being changed. Okay, so IV curve you go. So this sort of IV curve is coming out. So what I will do, I have taken all the correct values, but still I am not getting this point. So I will click here. I have stopped. Stop after Yoshi I have like not clicked. So that's the reason. So I have just clicked all, clear all simulations. So now I will again click single sort. So once I click the single sort, the IV curve I am only generating. So now go to the IV curve. So this is your IV curve. Okay? So 9.96, so somewhat efficiency it is showing. Okay, some VOC value, some GSC value, some fill factor value, some current value, some efficiency value it is showing. Okay, and you already know how to plot it. So show and then just copy it, and then so this thing I have shown you. Okay, so I have talked about basic things such as plotting, basic things such as what are the defect to be taken. So those things I have tried to clear. And please, for further videos, please tell me what point you want to discuss. So those point I will discuss in the future videos. Okay. So till then, take care.